So welcome to Boxing Media Hub, sponsored by Falcon Contracting and boxbets.co.uk. And with me now, I've got a special guest. He's known in many different ways. We've got Dmitriy Salita. How you doing, Dmitry?
Everything is good. Good to be on your channel.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice that you've got the chance to actually sit down, as I know how much of a busy man you are.
Thank you. It's been a good week. We just announced our next event, Big Time Boxing USA, March 28th, happening in Detroit. So there's been a lot of work around it, and a lot of, fortunately, it's getting a lot of media attention and in the fighters and in the fights. So one fight at a time, amongst many other things, working to reestablish a big time boxing scene in the city of Detroit.
Yeah. It's just an amazing time to be in boxing in whatever capacity, isn't it?
Well, depends who you ask and depends how you look at it, because boxing is really going through a renaissance and going through a very interesting stage that I think it hasn't experienced in a very long time. And I believe it started when HBO left boxing, or announced that they were going to leave boxing, and now Showtime has left boxing. So the business of boxing is changing, and and I do think it's a time for great opportunity and for a lot of possibilities. Today we saw Jake Paul announce his fight with Mike Tyson, which is going to be on Netflix, which is great to see another broadcaster get involved in the sport. I think it's healthy, so it is an interesting time for the sport of boxing.
But before we go any further,
here in the United States, at the very least.
A bizarre fight! What a bizarre fight, Dmitry.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I hate to use this example, but it's like when two celebrities start dating or get married or something like that. So these are maybe two of the biggest names. Obviously, Mike Tyson, one of the greatest heavyweights fighters of all time, probably one of the biggest names in sports, maybe the biggest name in sport that's still alive today. And Jake Paul trying to make the best of it, and is getting better with every fight. But people ask me if it's good for the sport, if it's not good for the sport. I think it's great for the sport, because there's a new stream of interest and a new stream of financial support from broadcasters, and there's undercard fighters, and there's storytelling. So I do believe that it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as we say, you're a man of many talents, I think is the best way to describe it. What a career. What a boxing career. 38 fights, 35 wins, 1 draw, 18 knockouts, against an array of talent from the start of your career to the end. And I'm sure there's guys out there now that you'd think, I'd love to have got in the ring with them. Just what a career. I don't think there's any other way to describe it.
I appreciate it. I started boxing. Thank you. I started boxing at Star City Boxing Club in Brooklyn, New York in 1995. And it was in the basement of a parking garage in the inner city project area of Brooklyn, New York. And it had a slope going down to the basement. Traditional boxing gym, in a sense that it was very humble. It had no windows, had no hot water, no cold water, no heat, no air conditioning, no bathroom. So it was really the school of hard knocks, and very fortunate to be in that space with Zab Judah, Monty Barrett, Shannon Briggs, Louis Collazo, Travis Sims, Danny Jacobs, Saddam Ali. I mean, the list goes on. And many fighters who went on to who were very good fighters, but life and the streets and different influences got the better of them, but more on that level. So it was really a fantastic place. And I put in a lot of hard work, sweat and tears and blood and pain throughout the years to master the sport of boxing and to be the best that I could be. And I really, now that I'm on the other side of the sport as a businessman in the business of boxing, I believe that education that I had is really incredible, and will help me service the boxing community for the better for as long as the good Lord face for me to be involved in the business.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think people flock to someone like you who's been there and done it themselves and lived through it, and as you say, grafted. You know, boxers are gonna come to you naturally because they're gonna think, well, this guy knows the grind. He knows the difficult times, and you know, you're a real example of the sport of what you can achieve.
Yeah. So thank you. So well, the ones that know, but some don't know, and it's
Yeah.
I dress differently. I put on a little bit of weight. Sometimes I go to different places and people recognize me as a boxing promoter, have no idea that I used to fight, which I guess is good because that means that I that I use my defense. But it is interesting.
No, definitely. Well, we've got some comments coming in already.
All right, we're on live. That's pretty cool. I like
We're
live.
live. Jam has said, loving what Dmitriy is doing as a promoter now. Top man who had a top career and is now helping the youths in the game.
Thank you, James.
Can't beat the compliments coming in. Hakan, all the way from Sweden. Is it an announcement incoming for Claressa Shields? And is it another homecoming in Detroit for her?
There is an announcement. There is something that we're working on with Claressa. Several different avenues for her. Don't know yet. Don't have a location yet, but one of the things that I've said earlier, it is my goal for Claressa to fight in the Middle East and to fight in Africa before she hangs up her gloves, because of, as important as the opponent, or maybe more important than the opponent, because of who Claressa is, the location is of tremendous value because of what she is, who she is, what she represents to the women around the world, and the different political, social, cultural steps that these regions are going through. I believe somebody like Claressa, showing what she has become and where she's come from and how dominant she is, will really inspire a lot of people and will leave an imprint for the years to come. Kind of like Muhammad Ali with George Foreman in Zaire.
Yeah, no, definitely. As you say, she is definitely she will definitely leave her print. I think there's no doubt in that respect. Just as she is as a character, but also what she's done in the sport. I think she carries herself, doesn't she?
As a character, you got to remember that Claressa grew up in Flint, Michigan, USA, which is one of the most challenging places in America, and she believed in herself and believed in boxing before women's boxing was a business, and made a very difficult decision every day to not go hang out, to not be influenced by all the different things that were existing in her community, and to go to the gym and to be the best. And she won the nationals, she won the world championships, then she won the Olympic Games. Didn't get the breaks that she thought that she deserved. Not that she thought that she deserved. That she deserved. Stayed amateur again. Won the nationals. Won the world championships. Won every amateur tournament. Went to the Olympics. Won a second Olympic gold medal. And and then I had the fortune of signing her. I really believe that she's one of the most significant athletes of this generation.
Yeah, no, 100%. And as you were talking about different places, I just want to say September 2010, obviously, to the 28th of March 24, which is your next one. You've been all over the place. I think it's fair to say.
September 1st, 2010, right? Is that what you said? September 1st. September 1st, 2010. Is that what you mentioned?
Yep. Yeah, September 2010. So it was what? New York, Arizona, Michigan, California, Kansas, New Jersey, Washington, Oklahoma, Iowa, Connecticut, Tennessee, London, and recently Riyadh. It's been madness, but in such a beautiful way.
It's been an incredible. It's been truly an incredible experience, and I am very grateful that that the hill keeps going up. There's some ups and downs, but overall it goes up. And I love the sport of boxing. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about the sport and why I keep on keeping on and think about creative ways to progress the business and progress boxing and progress my fighters is because I love it, and that's what I think about, most of the day. Growing up in it from when I was a kid around some of the best fighters in the world, it's really been tremendous.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's it's incredible what you've been doing, to be honest, and what you've given back to the sport as well from what it gave you. Hakan, what's next for Big Baby Miller?
Hopefully something significant. I mean, Jarrell had a tough fight last time out, and then had some tough things happening in his life. Seems to be that he's on track to be in a gym and to get back to and to get back to want to be the best. So we'll see. We'll see where that leads.
Yeah. And Jam has come in and he said, in regards to the Mike Tyson, it's just a payday for Mike as he's skint. It's a friend helping out another friend, but the fact is Netflix is involved, which is good for the sport.
I have no idea what the situation is. I'm sure Mike Tyson is making a lot of money, and
yes,
I from people say he's okay, but he obviously doesn't have the money that he's made when he was a fighter. Certainly, this will be a significant influx of income for him in a pretty safe way of obtaining it. I think that Mike Tyson looks like he's kept himself in shape. He looks like he's in good shape and in a good space. I believe that the storytelling leading up to the fight is going to contribute to the sport of boxing and will bring back good memories. And I think overall it's good.
I look forward to the press conferences and
too,
the face-offs. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say.
This is almost like a movie because it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. It's like it's a spectacle. It's a spectacle where boxing is used to attract fans. But with that being said, it's not like people would pay money to see Gary Kasparov play with Jake Paul or Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I'm saying? So these are like it's not like people would pay money for Wayne Gretzky to play hockey with somebody. So it's very interesting to note that it is boxing mano a mano, that competitiveness, that getting in the ring, even though years past that prime in Mike Tyson, I mean years past the prime, and Jake Paul, who may never really turn out to be a world-class boxer, but it is trying to be. But these are two celebrities and two big names in the world of culture, and obviously used to be in the world of sport, that are using the boxing platform as a way for people to tune in, to engage, to find interest. So that's very interesting. And people talk about, well, UFC is getting bigger than boxing. I think that UFC is a great business, and they have done and are doing a great job in being able to market it and to package it. But there is no one UFC fighter that's even as close to being as big as Mike Tyson. And I don't think you can ever put in. I don't think an event like this can ever happen with it, where, let's say, I don't know, John Jones would fight a celebrity who wants to try MMA. I don't think it would draw that same kind of drama.
No.
And one of the best fights I've seen live was Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. And in recent times, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the third fight, was incredible. I think that I'm obviously speaking as a boxing fan, but there's few things in sports that can certainly, including the UFC and MMA, that can have that kind of drama and the skill and the tenacity and the power and the emotion of a big time fight where one guy gets dropped, the other guy gets dropped, tides turning left to right, crowd cheering. I believe the excitement of boxing is absolutely second to none, and that's why this Tyson versus Jake Paul fight is happening at a stadium of 80,000. They can fit 80,000 people, and it's on Netflix, so it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's win-win for them, isn't it? It's fantastic, really. And as you say, it puts eyes on the sport. It brings people in that wouldn't necessarily watch boxing normally, because they'll want to see if Mike's still got it, and if Jake can do something that people don't think he could possibly do. I think there's a lot in that, and I think it's in the same with the Joshua Ngannou situation. Yeah. You look at it and you say it's intriguing. It might not be something I normally watch, right, but it's intriguing.
Sure, and and speaking of that, Joshua versus Ngannou is very intriguing as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a cracking fight. That normally I wouldn't. I know there's a lot of people out there that would go, "Oh no, I'm not interested," but they're kind of they're keeping one eye on it. Yeah, and I think that's what it is, isn't it?
Yes. No, Ngannou created enough interest and questions to tune in. I am certainly interested in the outcome. Although I do want to say that Anthony Joshua seems like he's gotten his groove back and is the sharpest he's been in a long time. But it's very difficult to fight big guys that are physically strong and that know how to fight. Not know how to box, but know how to fight. And I believe that was evident in the McGregor-Mayweather fight, certainly with Tyson and Ngannou, and seen it all throughout amateur boxing, even professional boxing. Guys that are physically strong and are in good condition and are big and imposing, those guys are very hard to fight. You have to wait until they tire out and slow down so that the boxing can be imposed on them. And a guy like Ngannou didn't get tired with Tyson, had a great chin, which I was surprised by, and could punch, like a mule kicks, as they say. So he's a tough guy to fight. It'll be interesting.
Do you have a prediction on that one, or are you just looking forward to seeing it?
I would want to see the first round before I make a prediction, but styles make fights, and I think that also Tyson Fury was surprised. No one expected for Ngannou to show up like he had, and it's very difficult to adjust to that, mid-fight. So I have to pick Anthony Joshua to win, and I believe that just seeing his fight with Otto and being there, his in and out style, his quick footwork, I believe, which I haven't seen in a long time, is what he'll need to do with Ngannou, because Ngannou has good technique for a guy of his experience and his size, but he does lean forward a bit and he does reach a little bit for his punches. And if Joshua can time that, I think he can be very successful in counter punches, which he's shown to be very good at, and may have a chance to stop Ngannou.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But with that being said, let's say Joshua blows out blows out Ngannou in a couple of rounds. It doesn't reflect to me on his fight with Tyson Fury. I think it will add more fuel to it, but let's see what happens. But it doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't mean that much in relationship to those styles, because these are different styles and those are different styles.
Well, this is it. But for me as well, looking at the entire card, I think the card's great, to be fair. But I think Hakan has pretty much said it. I think fight of the night for me is Zhang Parker. I think that is, as you say, the main event's the intriguing one, but Zhang versus Parker is the boxing fans' fight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great fight. Zhang came in the heaviest he's ever come in at.
He's a unit, isn't he?
Zhang is hot cold. Sometimes he shows up and he's incredible. Sometimes he doesn't show up, and he weighed in the heaviest he's ever weighed in at. I'm a big fan of Andy Lee.
Yeah.
And a fan of Parker. Uh, um, so Zhang has a good corner as well. But it's an interesting fight. But just seeing, and it's a good fight because two guys are, riding on a high.
Yeah.
Zhang is coming off a career best win. Parker's coming off a career best win. I mean, a huge win in the upset over Deontay Wilder. So it's going to be a very interesting fight.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hakan has also jumped in and said Shields versus Marshall was just amazing. He was ringside, lucky sod. And you may not remember me, but I bumped into you at ringside after the fight.
Right. That's good. Next time you're around, please say hello. Are you Hakan? Are you from Sweden by any chance?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Are you involved with Oro?
I think he has spoken to Otto before.
Okay.
But yeah, Otto's, I can't wait to see Otto get back out again, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think is another great guy that doesn't get the credit that is due, to be perfectly honest. I think he's, he worked himself into getting into that great position, really.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I wish Otto all the best. I think that he has a good trainer in Joey Gamache and could keep and he's learning in the gym and tries to get better. So I believe that that with a couple of wins he'll get himself back into another big one.
We've got Women's Boxing Channel. Hey Dmitry, thoughts on no women fighting in Saudi? I think Katie versus Cameron 3 would be a huge for the sport overall. Is it a trick missed?
Well, Claressa just had a PFL MMA fight in Saudi a week and a half ago. So and we'd love for Claressa to have a boxing match there. I think it'll be of real significance. I don't make those decisions, but I believe that for Claressa, when I landed in Saudi for the Day of Reckoning in December, driving from the airport, I saw ads of different women's sports, and immediately made me think that that the time is now for Claressa to come here. So we'll certainly set agenda and try to make it happen. I believe it'll be one of the biggest sporting events in recent times for Claressa to have a significant fight there, much more so if it's a rematch for Savannah Marshall. So it's something that we'd love to explore. And you mentioned Katie Taylor, big fan of Katie Taylor, wish her nothing but success. And I think her rematch would be great for women's boxing, great for the sport.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, as you say, the next big thing for you, obviously, Thursday the 28th of March at the Wayne State Fieldhouse, which is in Detroit. Cracking card so far. More fights to be announced?
Yeah, definitely more fights to be announced. There's going to be a great undercard featuring some of the best young talent from the United States, from the state of Michigan. And we're working on announcing some exciting things for the card. And Big Time Boxing USA, Showtime left, Showbox left, which we benefited from and had promoted so many events. Many of the fights where somebody's always got to go. And on our first show, which was February 20th, we had a 9-0 fighter who fought a guy who looked like an opponent, but he upset the 9-0 guy. So the goal of this series is to put on competitive fights, develop prospects, develop contenders, and tell stories of fighters. So I really believe that this is going to become the development series in the United States. And so we'll have some exciting news and exciting fights, and those that can't make it should turn on the zone and check it out. From beginning to end, it's going to be an exciting show.
Well, honestly, Dmitry, I am so chuffed that you could come on, and the things you're doing in the sport of boxing, just amazing things.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the success as well. And I thank you for the history that you've already left us in the sport. But, you know, the best is yet to come, my friend.
Please God, I appreciate it. And I love coming to the UK for boxing. And I hope that sometime in the near future, we'll have an opportunity to come to in the UK. They do press conferences, then they do fights. So I look forward to come to the press conference and to come to the fight, and hopefully meeting you and doing another interview.
No, thank you very much. And as I say on the screen there, that says it all for you there.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. I'll see you,
No
man.
problem.
Okay,
Thank you, Dmitriy.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
I'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks.
So that was Dmitriy Salita, top man, cracking promoter. What an absolute warrior of a fighter. So wish him all the best for the future. So much more to come from him. Great times ahead in the sport of boxing. So thank you very much for everyone for putting your questions in. Really appreciate your time. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the rest of the content at Boxing Media Hub, and we'll see you soon. Until then, have some of this.